Okay, my full name is Brenda Lavelle Howard Tapia.
Okay.
I was born August 27th, 1949, and had the honor of being one of the first black babies born at Lawrence Hospital in Mooresville. Had I been born 3 months earlier, I would have been delivered by a midwife as everybody else around me prior to that time. Even though a lot of babies were born that day, I ended up in a nursery all by myself shortly after birth because of the color of my skin. I was the only black baby born. And so I feel like that was an introduction to the world that I was coming into but didn't understand or know.
Rosenwald schools were built as as a one-room school, a two-room, three-room, four-room, or a five-room school. But we had a four-room, and we were so excited about school. And at some point in time, in the early years, before we got the Torrance Lytle building, Huntersville Colored School, we would have a Rosenwald Day in honor of Mr. Rosenwald, because we were so beholden as a race of people in the South. We are really beholden to him for his academicness in wanting to help educate little Negro children. So he teamed up with Booker T. Washington. Mr. Rosenwald provided the money, and Mr. Washington provided the different architectural drawings for the different schools. So we are very grateful to both of those men. But anyway, this is where I ended first grade.
And how did you get to school?
You had to walk.
Okay.
And you walked, let me put a pin in my story and go back to Pottstown.
Okay.
Even though I was born down by Alexandriana, and that was still Huntersville, and we moved in 1950. Our dad was in World War II.
Okay.
And when he came out, he went to school on the GI Bill and built our little four-room house with a little toilet in the back.
Ron Potts at his home in Cornelius, North Carolina.
In Cornelius, but again, I still call it Smithville. And so I was born here nearly 70 years ago. I was toward the last of my mother and father's children. There was 8 children born, 6 survived, and there was a gap between me and my next oldest, so it was almost like my sister and I were a second family. So I grew up in the family with my mom and dad and my older brothers and sisters. Interested enough, I started first grade when my oldest brother started college.
Okay, my name is Dorothy Kearns Burton. I lived in Davidson all of my life until I got the age of 70. And I moved to Cornelius, North Carolina. And now I am 74 years old. I stay in a Initative Heights way, apartment 108, building 3. I moved here 4 years ago. When I was younger, I stayed with my grandparents. We stayed in a big 2-story house down in the alley, and we lived upstairs with our mother. And it was 4 of us. Jimmy, Betty,
I met Jimmy.
Laura, myself, which our brother died.
I was actually born in Statesville. I don't tell a lot of people that. April 20th, 1986, but I was raised in Mooresville, North Carolina, my whole life. Exceptional college. When I lived in Cullowhee, and then I moved to Salisbury for my master's, and I moved to Atlanta for second master's. My family name is Stewart, but my family's makeup is so interesting because we have so many different branches coming in and going out. And our family is deeply rooted in this area. Stewarts, Cowans, Baileys, Torrance, Davidson, Alexander, Carson, Allison, Sturgis. Those are all names associated with my family. Those are all names that historically been associated with this area in particular. We mostly have been sharecroppers. Sharecroppers, Neal and King factory workers. I'm actually the first person in my family to go to college.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a big it's a big feeling, but it's a lot of responsibility. I'm pretty proud of that fact. Taking the family forward.